Oh, give me a home with no poisons or foam, where the skies and the waters are clear, where cement plants can't burn toxic waste and then turn it to
Wow,
dust
there's so many
that
people
gets
here.
into the air.
I'm really impressed. So I'm just gonna give you a primer if people are new to this issue on what Norlite is, and leave it to the speakers to tell you why we should shut it down. So if you're new to the issue and you've never heard of this before, thank you for coming today. This has been a long time coming, and I know we're gonna win.
That's right.
So Norlite is, they call themselves a shale aggregate producer. They're in Cohoes, New York. And what they do is they mine shale and they run it through a high temperature kiln to turn it into what's called aggregate. It's a construction material. But they fire that kiln with hazardous waste, and they get paid to accept and burn that hazardous waste. So Norlite got infamous back in 2020 when the public found out that they were secretly burning firefighting foam for 2 years.
For shame.
Millions of gallons of firefighting foam that contains PFAS, a forever chemical, they burned in their kilns and didn't tell anybody.
2.5 million pounds.
But then we started finding out that actually they've been violating their permits and polluting this region for 30 years.
Boo!
So it's time to shut it down.
That's right.
And there's three main reasons why we need to shut it down. Number one, they're the largest mercury polluter in New York State. They're permitted to burn and emit from their stacks 50 pounds of mercury into the air every year, and there's no safe exposure to mercury. The second reason is that they've been violating their permits for 30 years. They've settled with the EPA and the DEC. They've paid $1 million in fines. But that money doesn't go to the people who are affected, the people in Cohoes, in Troy, and northern Rensselaer County. And that's the third reason why we need to shut it down. We can't let the people of Cohoes and Troy and northern Rensselaer County be a sacrifice zone for this company. Shut it down. So you've got the right idea, and one last thing I want to say is I'm with Lights Out Norlite. We've been organizing to shut it down, but we're not the only organization in the region that wants to shut it down. We're not the only voice. I want to say thank you to the Sanctuary for Independent Media, who really helped us in the beginning. They set up our website, they set up our action network. They really did a lot to help us organize. Last year, we delivered a letter to the Department of Environmental Conservation that was signed by 122 organizations in the Capital Region. Troy Central Little League, Soul Fire Farm, Radix, Men's Warehouse says that Norlite should get shut down. So I'm going to leave it to the speakers, but I want to do a quick chant. So when I say, we all breathe what they burn, you say, shut it down. We all breathe what they burn. When I say, lights out Norlite, you say, shut it down. Lights out Norlite.
Shut it down.
Thank you.
I think what you're going to hear today are voices from many different communities that are directly affected by Norlite's practices and the DEC that has enabled these practices for decades. The first and foremost community that is directly affected is the housing project that is within 200 feet of the rotary kilns. There are 70 families that have lived there since the 1950s. They have been exposed to particulate matter that causes asthma, possibly silicosis, and out of that situation, a voice and many voices have been heard. The one that you're going to hear today is Joe Ritchie. Joe and his family have lived there for the last 20 years, and it's only with the latest pressure that we as a community have put on us that housing project is likely to close, and those people are going to be moved to safer situations, but it's still an ongoing issue. So without further ado, Joe Ritchie.
How's everyone doing today? Well, first of all, I want to say thanks everyone for coming here today. It just brings inspiration to myself, to Lights Out Norlite, and to everyone who's been disenfranchised for the past 60 years. The state of New York has allowed Norlite to pollute and to kill my neighbors, my families, my friends for decades. And we're calling on the governor, Kathy Hochul, to shut this plant down.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
I'll just say briefly some of my experiences growing up as a kid, not knowing really what Norlite was. When I was younger, my friends and I, we would love to play in the creek that runs right out from the Norlite facility. And this creek would just be discolored, and I had no idea what it was, but I just wanted to play with the turtles that were in that creek and catch and just be a little kid. And here I was potentially being exposed to 50 pounds of mercury a year, PFAS, dioxins, and everything else. So the kids that are playing at Saratoga sites today are being killed from the inside out because they're breathing in this horrible respirable silica that's going to kill them if they continue to be exposed to this. Is that acceptable?
No!
Are we going to stand for that?
No!
We want Norlite shut down. We don't want... Norlite should not be allowed to be in Cohoes. They should not be allowed to be in our state. If the governor is so serious about environmental justice, then the governor should shut this plant down today.
Shut it down!
One of the 70 families, including myself recently, are being forced to move because of the Norlite hazardous waste incinerator. Should that happen? No. This only happens in America because we focus on the profits of corporations such as Norlite, and we don't take into consideration the people who have lived there their entire lives, the people that want to continue to be Cohoesiers, the people that want to contribute to their community. They'll have to be forced out, go to their homes that they don't know, and they're going to have to start all over again when people are just struggling to get by. These people are in public housing for a reason, because they need help. They need help from the government, and the government has failed them time in and time out. We should not have to clean up black soot from our windowsills, the dust. It's literally black, the paper towels. My mother, when we just moved to us 2 miles away in Cohoes, it's night and day the difference. We no longer see black paper towels. We no longer see this horrible dust that's been collecting on our windowsills for decades. And it's amazing, but it's scary to hear the stories that are coming out of Saratoga sites. I mean, is it okay that kids are playing in black snow?
No!
This happens in Cohoes, New York, just 10 minutes away from here, and the governor has done nothing about it. She's stayed silent. She hasn't been the champion that she's directed to be. She's failed Cohoes, and we need her to do the right thing for Cohoes and the Capital Region, because she is supposed to be protecting us, not Norlite. We need you all to act today, to call on the governor to shut this thing down. The Norlite's Title V permits are being renewed. They've been on expired permits for 2 years. Can a dentist operate on expired permits or expired license? Can John McDonald, our assembly member, be a pharmacist if his license is expired? No, absolutely not. We need the governor to shut this thing down. And what I want you all to do too today when we're in the rally is go on Twitter, your social media accounts, take a picture of what's happening today, and say, Governor Hochul, shut it down. Her Twitter handle is @Hochul New York. You'll find her, she's right there, and say, Governor Hochul, we're right at your doorsteps. Why don't you come out here and say you want to shut down Norlite? And I'll just say one last thing. This brings people hope. For decades, people have tried to shut Norlite down. And all I'm hearing from residents who've lived there for 50 years to 5 years to 3 months is that they have hope because of us, because of this movement to shut Norlite down. Gone are the days where we're going to have another Joe Ritchie play in dust clouds coming on the playground. Gone are the days where we're going to have little children playing in playgrounds that are literally going to kill them. This is factual. This is not a lie. So today, let's say it one more time loud. I want it to be the loudest you can scream. Shut down Norlite!
Shut down Norlite!
Lights out Norlite!
Lights out Norlite!
Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. This is great. I didn't expect to see so many people out. Now I'm nervous. But that shows that we are reaching out and good, positive things are going to come from this. So, since about the 80s, the Norlites has been a major source of pollution in the Capital District, with no regards to the community that they directly affect. Being the mom and a long-term resident in Troy, I always wondered, how does these hazardous material affect my children? Also, what it does to the other children in the city of Troy. After doing some research, I became very disturbed. Corliss Park is a housing development that's across the bridge from Norlite in Troy, New York. This development houses thousands of youth and babies of color. I was astonished of my learnings. Our children have been breathing and playing in this fugitive dust for decades. We have no idea what the long-term effects will be on our children. We don't have any idea what it's going to do to their brain development. And they have stood quiet while we ask so many questions. Norlite has blatantly disregarded the community and is now ignoring the DEC and the community that they are directly affecting. This is a form of environmental racism.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
With that being said, there's nothing else but to say, but to shut it down. Shut it down. And with that saying, I would love to see all of y'all continue to work, and let's do it together. We call on Governor Hochul to what?
Shut it down!
And we're going to be here every weekend if we need to until it's shut down. Thank you.
So I got a poem, because that's what I do. How many breaths does it take to get to the center of shutting down toxic waste incinerators built in the wake of playing children? Their laughter, an inhale and exhale of particulates. Tell me how long we are to hold our breath to keep from breathing in poison without penalty, without apology, without acknowledgement, without repair. Become fugitives of the dust disseminating a recipe for dying. Death by 1,000 cuts of glass to the lungs. When I was young, I was diagnosed with asthma. I know what it's like to lose my breath, to feel like the next one ain't coming, like drawing air from a straw. Now imagine one breath, slow and wheezing like a train coming to a stop. Just one inhale, all the muscles in your body concentrating for one breath. But it's filled with dust, and the dust is filled with dioxins and mercury and chlorine gas and arsenic, and I could go on. But I want to know how many breaths we got left. Tell me, how do you escape a burning building when it's your own body? I think they are counting on us losing count of our breaths. When DEC doesn't even care. When families are displaced instead of the toxic waste incinerator that displaced them. When darkness nor light reaps any consequence, it just is. But today, we do not consent nor concede to cancer cells, to coughs, to irritation of the eyes, to compromised abilities to reproduce life. Today, this breath is a protest to the powers that pollute the places they think no one will care about, think they could make us sick without us being sick of it. But today, as sure as the sun shines, our breath is still in our bodies. We will be fighting for the air that we breathe, for the water, for the soil, for our lives,
to be free of the dust that lingers on our windshields and windowsills, on playgrounds where you can still hear the laughter of children and the soft whistle of dust-filled wind, an open secret of slow death. But we are one collective breath blowing the dust back. We are one collective breath blowing the dust back. How many breaths should it take to shut down Norlite? One. How many breaths should it take to shut down Norlite? One. How many breaths should it take to shut down Norlite? One. How many breaths should it take to shut down Norlite? One.
Hello, everyone. That poem was absolutely moving. Can we have another hand? My name is Kriti Sharma. I'm part of RPI Sunrise, just across the river. We are deeply, deeply affected, and we are so moved by everyone that is here today, and we deeply appreciate that you all are here today as well. So Sunrise, we're a group of college students, there's also high school students around the country, that have realized that climate change is going to affect them before it's way too late. So we are constantly trying to get students who are apathetic about politics, who are not ready to talk about politics or ready to attach policy to progressive climate action. We are trying to get them to come to events like this. We're trying to get them to really recognize all of the climate injustices in the area. And we were absolutely shocked to see a cancer cluster, to see children suffering with asthma because of climate change just in our backyard. And all of the wins that are coming to Troy, all of the wins that are coming to these college students from all across the country in one area, they're going to soon realize that this isn't an issue that's in some third world country that they don't care about.
So it must not be an issue.
We are so appreciative that we have events like this. The organizers that have come today to even make this possible, that is what matters today. I encourage you all to be an activist in any right that you have. Heap conversations with politically apathetic people. This is the way that we spread awareness about everything that is happening in our neighborhood, in our backyard, and yeah, we just really need to prevent it before it's too late. So I call on Governor Hochul to shut it down. Thank you.
Not yet sustainable. DC doesn't even care.
Is Norlite and Cohoes abiding by the dust enforcement yet, or does it still risk shutdown in a few weeks?
Well, they still risk shutdown. We have a notice of violation against Norlite. We had issued one about a month ago, and then another one in the last, I believe 2 weeks was the last one we put out there. This is in regards to the dust blowing off of their really large dust piles into the community, and have both received input from the community as well as corroborated it with my own staff that the dust continues to be a problem in the area. So we're taking it very seriously. We're as I made clear with my staff, we're going to make sure that we're looking at this problem as it evolves. Use the full force of the law. We're well aligned with the Attorney General's office on this. They're building us, and we're prepared to take any action necessary to stop this problem.
Norlite now. Revoke permit. Close Norlite now. We all breathe what they burn. We all breathe what they burn. We all breathe what they burn.
We all breathe what they burn.
Close Norlite now! Close Norlite now! Close Norlite now! Close Norlite now!
New York State Department of Health Cancer Registry data shows Norlite at the center of a cancer cluster extending from Cohoes into Troy and northern Rensselaer County. From there, the toxins, once emitted into the air, go everywhere. We may not be able to distinguish the pollutants from others in Albany proper, but make no mistake, Norlite is poisoning the capital region. and it's hurting people. In addition to the cancer cluster, asthma is another condition that pollution can cause. I have long suffered from asthma from growing up in a house with popcorn ceilings and a gas stove, but I never relied on medication for it as I do since moving to New York State. To lack the ability to breathe is the worst feeling, like drowning on dry land. New Yorkers have a constitutional right to clean air and water, yet Albany, Schenectady, Rensselaer, and Saratoga County are all areas considered to be disadvantaged communities according to the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. Even Norlite has acknowledged that the dust from their factory contains crystalline silica, which has been known to cause progressive, disabling, and sometimes fatal lung disease called silicosis. But unlike asthma, symptoms include cough, shortness of breath, wheezing, nonspecific chest illness, and reduced pulmonary function. Additionally, individuals with silicosis are predisposed to develop microbacterial infections, tuberculosis and non-tuberculosis, and fungal infections. Inhalation of air with a very high concentration of respiratory silica dust can cause the most serious forms of silicosis in mere months or a few years. These are direct quotes from Norlite, and more self-reported information can be found on the Lights Out Norlite campaign website. Norlite has been allowed to operate even though since June 21st, 1990, they have been responsible for over $1 million in penalties. Norlite claims to be part of the Cohoes community and that their hazardous waste incinerator does us a favor by eliminating something nobody else wanted or knew what to do with, but at what cost? They provide jobs, sure, and those employees have families and they may even find purpose in work, but do they live here? Do the CEOs of Norlite live in Cohoes, downwind of the factory? No. I want to assume they wouldn't turn such a cold shoulder to their neighbors. But even if they do reside around Norlite, it's time to stop seeing amounts of suffering as acceptable. You can get another job or change careers, but we get one life. There's a reason why we never look to our most successful corporate executives to lead the way. In every industry turn, powerful companies have used their influence to destabilize or deter progress instead of learning how to remain relevant to society. We could have had electric cars, a world without PFAS, and more if we truly had a free market. But we're not out here to demand anything of Jeff Beswick, CEO, or Ada Dalglish, company director. We're out here calling on Governor Hochul to satisfy the people's will and the law. Governor Hochul, it's time to shut down Norlite LLC for good. Thank you.
Hey, hey, Hochul, Norlite has got to go. 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 Hey. 518-474-8390, options 3 and options 1. Put that baby into your phone because you're going to be calling her a lot. Tell her you're outside, that Norlite has to go. They've been emitting too much hazardous waste into our community for decades, and it has to end now. And she may have inherited this problem, but it is her problem.
Thanks for sticking around. Just one more thing, and then we can all walk over to the May Day event. So we mentioned that Norlite's permits are up for renewal. Now, Kathy Hochul can shut this down without the permit renewal. We don't need that, but there is a public process, and we're going to stay very involved in getting those permits denied. So if you want to stay involved and help us participate and make your voices heard, you can follow us. Our website is lightsoutnorlite.org or just norlite.org. And our Facebook is facebook.com/lightsoutnorlite. We're also on Instagram. So follow us to stay involved, and thanks everybody for coming today.
And how much pollution will business create?